Hello again. So now we have the image glued down and smoothed over with the credit card. And if you had a really large image and you saw any air bubbles here, just so you know, you can take a small X-Acto knife, cut a tiny hole into the air bubble, and then just smooth it over gently with your finger, and it will be good as new. It won't show up in your artwork. One supply that I forgot to tell you to have is a spray bottle with water in it. This says vinegar and water, but it's not. It's just water. And I'm just going to put a little bit of water. So I'm at a distance of about 10 inches from this. And I'm going to just do like, I don't know, like this, just a spray. And you can see the water on the picture. And then you can see their faces coming through a little bit too. So I'm going to start rubbing gently with my finger. And what happens is teeny tiny rolls of the paper start coming up and the image starts coming through a little bit clearly. So conceptually what you're doing is you're rubbing off the top layer of the paper. And it gives a really cool texture to your piece, and you as the artist decide how much you want to rub off. For instance, some people might like that look. For me, it's a human face and it's my beautiful mother, so I want it to be a bit more clear. And so I'm just going to rub a tiny bit more, and you can see her face coming through a little bit clearer. And a mistake that's easy to make, you have to kind of play around with this and do a few practice runs on a lot of different pieces of paper. For instance, this might end up being a practice run. I don't always like the way these turn out. They're hard to get them to turn out really well and how you want them, but you have to allow for the emergent process. And you have to, if you can accept what the paper is going to give you, you'll love this process. If you need perfection, you probably need a different hobby altogether. I'm kidding about that, but these aren't photographs. And so I find a lot of gratification in accepting what the paper wants to give me through this process. And it seems to be giving me a really beautiful picture of my mom. And you can see her face and her gorgeous blue eyes. I think she's the most beautiful woman on the planet. And then what I'm going to do after this is rub over all of the other faces. And I might need to put a little bit more water over the other faces as I begin that. I don't know. So like moving over here to my face, if I just start rubbing. It seems to be enough water for now. It feels, the texture under your finger should feel sort of dry, and you feel the paper rolling up. And I am not putting a lot of pressure on this. So over here, there's a lot more water, and so it would be really easy to tear the paper right now. So I'm rubbing much lighter. And I would rather go, there's no rush to doing this. You could come back to it tomorrow with a spray bottle and continue tomorrow if you want to. You could also take a paper towel and you could blot up some of the water. Up here, I don't have enough water, so I'm going to take my spray bottle, put a tiny amount on there. And again, I'm not saturating and drenching, I'm just putting a little moisture on there. It takes me about, depending on the size of this, 20 minutes to a half an hour to get the image to where I want it to be. And this is just the process I use. Another thing that works sometimes that I'm just now thinking of is you can take an eraser, like just on a regular number 2 lead pencil or graphite pencil. I guess they're not lead anymore. And you can use an eraser instead of your finger. I feel like I have more control when I use my finger because I can feel if the paper is going to tear. But again, sometimes a tear in the paper makes a really cool photo. Like I just did one for a friend. Oops, see here's a tear. And that tear is happening partly because I have too much gesso on the other side and because there's too much water on this side. And this happened with a piece that I just did for a friend in memory of her mother who passed away. And it turned out to be a really cool piece of the artwork. It looks really vintage and really cool. And so I could repair this if I wanted to. I could scoot the paper back over it, but I like it. So I'm going to leave it. And it's my face. And so if there's a hole in it, that can be okay. Okay, I'll come back to you once this image has been scraped up and show it to you.